What's dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things as they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. And you can never force nobody else to.
No.
Are you a rich man?
When you mean rich, what you mean?
You have a lot of possessions? A lot of money in the bank?
Position make you rich? I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life, forever.
Just leave it to God. God got you. Don't stress. Just leave your problems to Him. He got you. So that's what I can say. But also, go to the gym too. Fall in love with yourself. Want to be healthy. Want to look the best version that you can look for yourself. Don't go buying shit to fix yourself. Nah, get in that gym and work on yourself.
Your opinion of me is not the opinion that I have of myself. You ain't make me, so you can't break me. You didn't build me, so you can't kill me. You know what? God established me, so you ain't nothing you can do to me. I've been dealing with this foolishness since Pee Wee football, man. I've been him. I've been a difference maker, a game changer. I've been that guy. So what will change now that I'm coaching? Not a darn thing. I'm not even playing the game, and you got an opinion of me. I'm not even on the field. But I'm pretty sure I get every darn coach I'm playing against, head coaches. Anything you want to do. But I love it, but I don't care. And I wish the world thought like that. Youngsters, if you're out there right now, do not give a darn what opinions people have of you, long as that opinion is not consistent of that of yourself. You be you. I'm not playing to make you feel good about me. I already feel good about me.
Seems to navigate through storms with an unexplainable grace. They emerge from trials not just unscathed, but often enriched, leaving you in awe of their resilience. This is the mark of divine protection, a shield not just against physical harm, but against the turmoil that seeks to unsettle their spirit. Their spiritual power influences not only their path, but touches everyone around them, often in ways you might not immediately recognize, but feel deeply. This spiritual prowess is not wielded like a sword, but flows like a river, touching lives, healing wounds, and sometimes steering the collective consciousness towards greater good. To stand against them, to challenge or belittle their essence, is not only an act against them, but against the very currents of this divine protection. The consequences of such actions ripple out, affecting not just the provocateur, but the fabric of their interactions with others. In essence, the scheme of things is significant, yet often clouded by the mist of misconceptions and fear. Recognizing their capabilities and the challenges they face is essential for fostering a harmonious existence free from conflict. Join us as we delve into the mysteries why the chosen ones are not to be underestimated, and how their presence is a powerful force for positive change in the world. The first reason why you should never offend the chosen ones is their divine protection and spiritual power. Cloaked in an unseen armor, these individuals are not mere participants in the universe's unfolding drama. They are central characters, guided and guarded by forces beyond our comprehension. Their spiritual power isn't a myth. It's a palpable force, capable of shifting the energy in a room, turning strife into harmony.
A narcissist encounters someone who possesses true strength, emotional, psychological, or even social. They perceive it as an existential threat. Their entire identity is built around a carefully constructed illusion of superiority, power, and control. They rely on the compliance and validation of those around them to reinforce their own self-image. But when they meet someone who does not bend to their manipulation, someone who refuses to be controlled, their carefully crafted illusion begins to crumble. And when a narcissist's illusion crumbles, they react in ways that are both predictable and deeply unsettling. At first, they may not immediately recognize the depth of your strength. Narcissists are skilled at sizing people up, assessing their vulnerabilities, and exploiting them.
God didn't create dead-sin position chasing a paycheck at the expense of your happiness. God's plan for your life is far greater than that. Now, hear me when I say this. You were not created just to work. You were created to serve. There's a big difference. When you look at the world around you, there are countless people who have achieved great success, but the ones who leave a lasting impact, who truly change the world, are not the ones who simply held a job. No, they're the ones who discovered their calling. A calling is different. A calling is something that stirs deep within you, something that lights a fire in your soul. A calling is not dependent on your job title or your paycheck. It is based on your passion, your gifts, and your willingness to serve others in a way that only you can. Think
Of something greater. Your presence here is no accident. Forces beyond comprehension have aligned to bring you to this very moment, because you are already on the right path. Pay close attention. There is something waiting for you, a revelation meant only for those who dare to listen. You have always been more than you were told. You were born with a fire that no one could ever extinguish, a force so potent that the world around you quivers with its raw potential. Every step you took, every small victory, was a warning shot to the universe, a signal that you were coming for what was yours. The doubters, the naysayers, they weren't blind. They were terrified.
A lion doesn't need to roar to prove he's king. He just walks and the jungle listens. This is the kind of quiet strength the Sigma male carries. He doesn't chase power, attention, or approval, but people still turn to him when things fall apart. He was born with a mind that sees through the noise, a presence that commands without effort, and a drive that refuses to be tamed by rules that don't make sense. But here's the twist. Even though Sigma males are natural leaders, most of them hate being in charge. Not because they can't handle responsibility, but because they can't stand the politics, the fake smiles, the power games, and the endless need to manage people who don't want to think for themselves. They don't want followers. They want freedom. If you're someone who feels more at home leading from the shadows, staying quiet while the room spins, refusing to compromise who you are just to fit in, you might be a Sigma male. And that's not a weakness. That's rare. That's powerful. You weren't built to bark orders. You were built to think deeply. While others are talking about what they're going to do, he's already halfway through doing it. There's no performance, no fake hype, no pressure for applause. He simply handles his business and keeps it moving. And people who get it, they follow. Not because he asked them to, but because they feel something when they watch him work. That's the difference. Sigma males don't attract followers by force. They attract by energy, by integrity, by consistency. And here's the twist. If you're someone who needs constant reminders, cheerleading, or emotional hand-holding just to stay on track, you're not his kind of tribe. He's not trying to drag people across the finish line. He's trying to build momentum that inspires movement. He doesn't believe in barking orders or micromanaging others into greatness. That's a waste of time. Real ones don't need to be told what to do. They just need to see how it's done. And the Sigma, he's the perfect blueprint. He leads in silence.
Whatever you expect with confidence. In other words, if you confidently expect good things to happen, surprise, surprise, good things happen to you. If you confidently expect negative things to happen, then negative things are going to happen to you. That most successful people have developed an attitude of confidently expecting good things.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will resolve with whatever life hands you to carry on, there is nothing that can stop you from achieving the greatness for which you were created. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will resolve with whatever life hands you to carry on, there is nothing that can stop you from achieving the greatness for which you were created. Thank you.
Every fleeting moment, all inside one unified stream of experience. That's what it might mean to scale consciousness upward. You're not one person navigating a network. You are the network. Consciousness, what it's up to is exploring all of its potentialities. And the reason it's continuing to do that is because there's no end to it in principle. And that's where this idea starts to resonate.
price has been enormous. The risk is enormous. We can end this planet tomorrow. Goodness knows we are very close to that. We don't end the planet. We can end civilization tomorrow. Give it 1,000,000 years, the planet will be all right again, but we will not be around. So the risk is enormous, the cost is enormous, and it all seems to be focused on this unique ability of nature through us to take explicit account of itself, to recognize itself at a metacognitive level and say, oh, this is what I am, this is what's happening. That seems to be the purpose of it.
Is all life conscious?
I think all life is conscious in the sense that all life has a private conscious point of view of its own. I think what we call life, biology, metabolism, is the appearance of dissociated complexes in the mind of nature that have acquired their own private point of view as opposed to the oceanic awareness of mind at large. Risk an answer that is not conservative, but a risk hypothesis that I think is plausible. All indications are that nature's instinctive, spontaneous purpose is to develop the ability to self-reflect. And we are the means, we are the part of nature that can do that. We represent the first time that nature could look upon itself and take explicit account of itself and say, oh, this is what's happening. Is this good or is this bad? Nature achieved this through us after 13.8 billion years at unfathomable cost. The amount of suffering through the course of evolution by natural selection that has played out in this planet is inconceivable. It's overwhelming. So the price has been enormous. The risk is enormous. We can end this planet tomorrow. Goodness knows we're largely right, but not completely right, because there is one part of the noumena that we can access directly, and that's us. We too are part of nature. We too actually exist. We too are noumenal, not mere representations in the minds of other people. Even if everybody else disappeared and we were the only living being alive on this universe, there would still be something it is like to be us. We are not limited to the representations of other people. They are representations of us. There is something it is like to be us. We are noumenal too. So in our case, we do have direct access to the noumena. We don't have that access to the noumena of anything else, but in our case we do. And if we introspect, we find what it is like to be the noumena. And what do we find? We find thoughts, emotions, fantasies, intuitions, perception.
World of power that are not written in law books, that don't appear in any constitution, and certainly aren't mentioned in the polished speeches about morality or justice. They don't make noise. They don't require swords. They only need tolerance. And the moment you let a wrong action slide, when you turn a blind eye to a tiny fracture in trust, in that very moment, you're writing your own downfall. This isn't a lesson for dreamers. This is not a tale for those who want to live comfortably. This is the raw truth about what destroys empires, what crumbles companies, and what corrupts the soul of any leader who fails to protect what he holds. Because power doesn't just fall, it is eroded, bit by bit, by betrayal, by greed, by those who smile under the lights, but dig graves in the shadows. And if you don't see it, if you don't...
I am patient. Observation is the key to victory, while others rush. I see the whole field, because real power doesn't shout. Watch, wait, win.
Earned through real experience. When you laugh, it's genuine. When you love, it's pure. When you speak your truth, it carries power. Most importantly, you have this unshakable knowing that everything is going to work out. Even in your darkest moments, there's this inner strength that keeps you going. This faith that transcends circumstances. That, my friend, is what they're after. These wealthy individuals spend millions on anti-aging treatments, spiritual gurus, energy healers, anything anything to capture what you naturally possess. They attend secret meetings and exclusive retreats, desperately trying to manufacture the connection you were born with. But here's the brutal truth they can't accept. What you have comes from a lifetime of choosing love over fear, integrity over profit, faith over control. Now I need to tell you something.
Gender studies or and then there was the whole family. This really stunned us. The whole family section was not about like how to improve your marriage or have a better family. It was all how to get divorced.
How to get divorced. Next to the how to kill yourself file.
Yeah. That's exactly what, and they of course they push this, and this is what they want. They don't want us to have a strong nuclear family. They don't want us to have strong neighbors, friendships in the neighborhood. They want us to, they want women to say they don't need men. Get rid of men in your life.
Don't need men. It's world. Therefore, you can't say things like, "Oh, there's no evidence for God," as though he's a chemical reaction.
Yeah, the Yeti. Yeah,
right. He's not like that. You have to ask a whole different set of questions, and that's what the new atheist did. And
like what? What were the questions?
Like, why is there something rather than nothing? Like, why should contingent being exist at all? How do you explain the to be of something whose nature is not to be, namely you and me and everything around us? I am, for sure, but my nature is not to be. I could think myself out of being in a second. There's nothing necessary about me. Well, how do you explain that? How do you explain that? Now you say, oh, it's all matter and energy. It'll never work. Why? Because matter is always matter under these conditions, matter in this size, matter of this energy, matter at this speed, matter of this color. How did it get there? Why is it this rather than that? See, so you can't answer that question, the really cool, interesting question, by a room. Yes, he's everywhere in this room, because this room wouldn't exist unless God were singing it into being. And so God is at the same time as transcendent as you can imagine, not a thing in the world, and as immanent as you can imagine. It was the great Augustine who said, God is at the same time superior sumo meo et interior intimo meo, which means he's higher than anything I can imagine, and he's closer to me than I am to myself. Now, figure that one out. Now you understand the God whose nature is to be. He's transcendent. I can't grasp him. And he's so immanent, I can't hide from him. See, and that's the space opened up by the Bible, I think. So what's the solution, you might ask? The solution is fall in love with God. Falling in love is not grasping. It's not hiding from. And can we read the Bible as God trying to draw his people into that space?
And energy resources. However, in the centuries-old history of our planet, there are many catastrophic wars that often unfolded in the vastness of the world's oceans. This is a direct threat to security from the ocean expanses. There is a clear paradox. The ocean is the blue mirror of the planet, the cradle of life on Earth, the only road connecting the peoples of various continents for centuries, and at the same time, a threat to peaceful life. The ocean from the cradle of life becomes the arena of the most brutal battles, both on the surface and in the depths. The predictions of the great Leonardo, who destroyed the drawings of his submarine, came true. People are so evil and insidious that they would be ready to kill each other, even on the seabed. We mess with the oceans, and the extraterrestrials, or descendants of ancient advanced civilizations that survived previous global disasters, and they in turn. The people of the ancient world, having named our planet Earth, did not imagine that it was 3/4 occupied by the ocean, which from time immemorial attracts with its mystery and frightens us with a formidable force, promising untold reaches and promising great dangers. People have always succumbed to the hypnosis of the ocean. It resides in the depth of our subconscious and is one of the primary elements, along with fire, air, and lightning. We vaguely imagine that the moving mass of water
Jupiter, subject to the rhythm of the heavenly bodies, is the source of life and is closely connected with the origin of man and his fate. The centuries-old history of human society, whose entire path to progress is closely connected with the ocean, with the developments of its huge food, raw materials, fuel, and energy resources. However, in the centuries-old history of our planet, there are many catastrophic wars that often unfolded in the vastness of the world's ocean.
You sit before me, carrying a question that is not only about others, but about yourself. Why do empaths vanish without warning? And why do they never return? To understand this mystery, we must enter not the surface world of behavior, but the subterranean kingdom of the psyche, where archetypes whisper, shadows breathe, and the soul arranges its own escapes. What you call an empath is not merely a personality type or a sentimental trait. It is an ancient wound transformed into a vessel of sensitivity. The empath is born not through ease, but through fracture. Somewhere in the labyrinths of early life, the empath learned that survival depended on perceiving what was unspoken.